mushrooms are a food product, and there are many times where an oncologist will say to me like, I don't want my patient on any supplements right now. And I'm like, okay, dietary guidelines, okay. And, more than not, they're like, yeah, whatever, because I'm not even going to talk about diet. So you handle the diet, I'll handle chemo. And I'm like, awesome. So I'm like, okay, shiitake, maitake, lion's mane. Let's get into this. So I will leave the herbs that require decoction, extraction out. Reishi, chaga, cordyceps, turkey tail, those herbs. I mean, I guess you could chew on them, but it's really disgusting. And you're not going to break down the cell wall just by eating. But I've got all these other herbs, right? Even we talked about this before, those little wood ear, the tremolo drinks, in the Korean grocery stores. You can even drink those, but you can have shiitake, maitake, agaricus, lion's mane dietarily, so even if you can't, maybe you hate taking supplements, maybe your doctors have said, I don't want you on supplements while you're on this other medication, you can still be looking to making mushroom broths. You can still be looking to adding, cooked mushrooms in almost everything you eat. So that's like, I think that's the best advice that anybody could follow. Like, yeah, see your practitioners, get on a regimen of supplements and herbs and find kind of a path through all of that. But if you can't do any of that, get to the grocery store. Agaricus is, an incredible mushroom. The whole, there's a story about a Chinese doctor going to Cuba in the 60s, right? And he all of his Cuban patients were like super healthy and he couldn't figure out why. And he found out they were all eating agaricus all the time in all of their meals. So he sent the agaricus, I think it was either to Japan or back to China to be studied. And that's where they found out the immune modulating capabilities of agaricus. So that's in like every grocery store in America. Like it's an easy thing to find. So dietary mushrooms wherever possible.
Yeah, accessible, still food, and yeah, lots of powerful nutrients and compounds.
Yeah, and your doctors are usually not going to tell you like, oh, don't do this, right? Because it's just part of your diet. They're usually totally fine with it. And in cases where I've had patients on chemo and radiation, again, this is an anecdotal, it's not a research study, but in the cases that I've seen with cancer, often their side effects are much lower, when they've got a good diet of medicinal mushrooms. So again, it's anecdotal. I can't publish that. It's just an observation. But if that happens in more than one patient, you're kind of, if it happens in one patient, you're like, oh, well, that was really cool. That was amazing. And then it happens in a second patient, you're like, huh, this is awesome. This is working. So someday I hope to be able to do a study on that and write that up. That would be an amazing study. But we do see it. There's research out there that shows these protective effects. And my paper talks about that. The one I just had published beginning of this year in Frontiers in Pharmacology. I did an overview of Chinese herbs and their effects on T cells. And one of the things that comes up again and again and again is the reduction of side effects from chemo and radiation.